The farm manager is an important part of every size farm, whether it's you doing the work as the farm manager or as a larger farm, you have an outside do it. There's some key things that they're going to help you with. I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. So you've probably seen the Clarkson's farm, and there's Cheerful Charlie, Charlie Ireland. He's a farm manager. He's actually a professional agronomist and land agent. So he does a lot more than farm management, but he provides a sounding board to Jeremy Clarkson, who runs the farm, as what we can and cannot do on the farm, and then some of the numbers associated with running a farm. So if you want a prosperous homestead, I talk about homestead management, running the homestead like a business. You got to need somebody playing the role of a farm manager. Now, a farm manager does a variety of things, and I'm going to cover a few of the things that they do. But ultimately, the farm manager brings together the business side of the farm. So if you want to have enjoyment and create memories and have campfires and relax and have the cultural community aspect of a farm, you better hope that thing's ran the way it needs to run. Otherwise, it's going to be a giant sinkhole of money. The typical farm costs $1 million or more to start. Much of that is because of regulation and compliance rules. But just in starting the properties that I manage, we could spend we have a 6 month delay on getting power to the location and constant frustrations with vendors. And if I had to live at the property and run animals and manage that kind of stuff, it would be horrendous. And because of USDA regulations, I can't have animals on the property without proper fencing, and proper fencing requires electricity. And then we can't have breeding animals on the property without having proper shelter and heat and all that stuff. So my point being is that there is a bunch of farm management activities that are associated with running a homestead that you're going to need to make sure are taken care of in order to maintain agricultural exemptions, to maintain, in some states, the right to farm, to have this lifestyle. And the farm manager's primary role is to make sure the farm at least breaks even. A farm manager is also going to worry about risk and compliance. There's a giant list from biosecurity to controlled agents to nursery inspections to vaccinations and visitations for animals that you have to make sure are maintained and put on a schedule somewhere. There's also going to be independent quality assurance. So if you've hired an outside manager, they may hire a veterinarian to come inspect your herd so that you can have a certificate associated with or a recent inspection notice before you take the animals to market. So some markets have requirements about those animals before they can show up. And unless you're qualified to inspect them, you're not going to be able to do it. And so if you want better pricing, you're going to have to run that inspection. You may also have veterinarian services. So the farm manager may schedule and keep track of and arrange the veterinarian services so that you have people come through at an appropriate time. If you're still working a full-time job, you don't want to have to take a day off work in order to meet with a veterinarian who may not show up because they got some kind of an emergency. And so you be paying full rate. By the way, if you're taking if you're taking vacation to stay at your farm to visit with a vet, that costs you the price of the vet plus the insurance time plus reputation at work, the professional opportunities where you could have a farm manager who just sends somebody out there, or they schedule the veterinarian the same time they're going to be out for maybe an animal count, or they're going to be out for fence inspection or something else. So what else does a farm manager do? They support procurement and vendor management. One of the big opportunities you're going to have with a small farm is to partner with other farms and then go in on bulk feed purchases. Feed is getting more expensive than ever before, and the land for hay fields is more expensive than ever before. So you may not be able to get the hay that you need over winter. There are calculations to determine how much hay you're going to need. But if you could partner with other people and a farm manager can help you do this, you could have access to hay. You could buy up or collect the unsold hay. You might be able to find hay that can be used perfectly well for top dressing a field and getting a field refreshed, or otherwise hay that can be used for bedding, but not suitable for food. The underlying factors is that the management of vendors, the management of resources you're going to need on the farm, the projections of resources, that's a procurement activity, and you may not be well suited to manage it. If you want to scale properly on the farm, you need to mind both the grounds, the earth health, but also the animal's health by getting them the right amount of food. And we don't want to be feeding them cheap feed. In a regenerative model, we want to make sure that we have enough land available to rotate those animals through the land, but there will still be the need for feed. And so if you're buying in a bulk cooperative, you're going to get lower costs, you're going to get higher quality feed, and you're going to be able to make sure you have feed when you need it. Because during the COVID shutdowns, there were cases where feed was not available, and people went to cheap cracked corn. They were feeding hogs leftovers from cafeterias. It's hard to maintain the compliance associated with an organic certification or with a halal or kosher certification if you are not able to get the food that's expected for those animals. A farm manager can help you do that. Now, a farm manager can help you with a gentleman's farm or a growing farm by providing supplemental services. So, for example, the farm manager can help you find laborers. Now, again, a farm manager is likely managing multiple farms, so they can get a team of laborers that can move farm to farm to help bring in a crop, to help clean up things, to help get things where it needs to go, like getting plants out in a market garden, where if you had to do that individually, you might not get a favorable rate because you're only going to hire them for 2 days. And so you're going to be hit and miss with the people. There's also screening that's involved to make sure you have people on your property that are they're safe to have on your property. And then there's other factors like insurance. A farm manager is going to help you maintain a portfolio of insurance. In fact, I was talking with a client and they have a number of tractors on their property. And I said, hey, get me a copy of your depreciation schedules for these tractors. And he didn't know what I was talking about. I said, well, your accountant is going to expect a depreciation schedule for these vehicles. We need the receipt when they were purchased, how much they were purchased for, when they were purchased. I'm going to write a paragraph of justification about why they were purchased, and then I'm going to put together a schedule that's going to be given to the accountant so that you can get the proper depreciation on it. It's not the farm manager's place to tell you how the depreciation gets done. But it is the farm manager's place to make sure that the implements are accounted for. And by the way, somewhere there should be serial numbers for all the implements. There should be serial numbers for the tractors. There should be an idea of the maintenance schedule on the vehicles. And I know you're saying, oh, it's just a little small farm. Yes, it'll stay a small farm if you don't do these things. And then if you're not doing these things, then you're going to end up with surprises like a dead tractor in the middle of a growing season. But the point being is, if you're a gentleman farmer, I know quite a few people who are working in the trades. They're working in, maybe they have a family farm and they're working full time in town while their wife takes care of the farm, or their husband takes care of the farm while the wife's working in town. They need that oversight that comes with a farm manager to make sure that they aren't overwhelmed by all the things that are required to be done. And so the farm manager takes over some of the accounting and some of the record keeping. For example, the record keeping associated with breeding schedules. Yeah, you can put it in a little notebook. But if you're out looking for, a buck, or you're looking for a stud, somebody can be out looking for you, and very often your farm manager is going to know which studs, which bucks are working well, and be able to move them between farms more efficiently than you can, because again, you've got your day job. You've got the core functions of your homestead. You've got some lifestyle that you're looking for. One of the reasons folks get into the homestead is because they want a slower and more simple life, and then they realize it is twice as much work as working a full-time job, because you've got everything from home maintenance to fence maintenance to barn and stable maintenance. And so whether you're running your agricultural activity is equestrian, whether your agricultural activity is forestry and hunting grounds, or whether your activity is actual traditional agricultural farm with livestock and vegetable gardens, maybe you're running a winery, a farm manager can be supplemental to your overall activities while helping you streamline the performance of these necessary activities. There's also reporting for tax compliance. One of the challenges that I've seen folks have who work full-time in a profession, maybe it's a W-2 job, or maybe they own a insurance agency or they own a medical office. That agricultural activity could be seen as a hobby, but if you have a farm manager, the farm manager can make sure they're documenting things appropriately so that it's a legitimate business and you get the agricultural benefits associated with lower taxes, associated with how insurance works in different areas. So do you have to hire a farm manager? Not necessarily. You may just consult a farm manager for ideas and concepts on how to organize your farm. You may find farm management advice. See, not everybody can afford Charlie Ireland and his group. There may not even be that kind of service in your area. But if there is, many are available for consulting. There are many conferences and events. There are small groups. We talked about cooperatives in a previous podcast, but there are small groups that can share ideas. But don't think you're going to start a farm and not have the regular management that's necessary to run a farm, because it's great to have a farm. It feels good. And again, farmland could be hunting land, and you may enjoy scheduling the plots for your deer plots. You may enjoy habitat management and wildlife, but it's going to go slow, maybe not even in your lifetime, if you don't get the help you need. And that's why farm managers or property managers or land agents are very valuable. Now, some words of warning. If you're doing a regenerative agriculture, if you're doing a permaculture design, many of the professional agronomists are going to lean towards the Monsantos. They're going to lean towards the commercial equipment. They're going to lean towards that commercial structure because they're incentivized to do so. What you want to look for is a farm manager who's going to grow and help you with a holistic design so that you can make the best of the land. Now, the good news is a lot of these big guys aren't going to even talk to you if you don't have thousands of acres. So if you only have a few hundred acres, or you have 30 or 40 acres, you're going to be looking towards an independent consultant who's going to provide farm management, and they're going to provide a cookie cutter format for you to work with so that it makes your day-to-day life easier, so it reduces burdens when it comes tax time, so that you can be aware of tax deductions and benefits associated with how you're operating the farm, and then ultimately get you in touch with the right vendors and the right advice so that you can grow your farm at the scale that you desire. So again, whether it's farmland, hunting land, an ecotourism location, campgrounds, or other types of agricultural activities, a farm manager is going to save you a fortune. They're going to save you time, they're going to save you money, and they're going to improve the overall operation. In fact, a good farm manager will more than pay for themselves. You still got to pay them money every month, but you'll get that money back very quickly in the savings that they'll provide for you and the peace of mind that they'll provide for you. I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. If you have specific questions about farm management or what you should expect in a farm manager, visit us at www.prosperityhomestead.org. Go to the contact page and ask those questions. We have a number of resources available there, including a free newsletter. And then, of course, we record the podcast, and I'm looking to do some interviews. If you have people that you want me to interview, I'd be more than happy to do so, because we're here to help you start your homestead dream and not make it a nightmare, but your dream, and have that lifestyle and have that experience and have that financial benefit and have that value of being a good steward to the land. I want to thank you for listening. Be sure to, like and subscribe, put your comments below. Let me know if this is taking care of the needs you have. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.